Good evening. Welcome back to The Witcher 3 for some more reading of the books and notes that you can find in this game. These are not the quest books yet. I will do one or a few reading videos of the quest books, but these are just ordinary lore books. As in the last video, what you're seeing now is just some free roam gameplay. Last time we rode around Velen and Novigrad, so I thought I'd change things up, and we are in Skellig right now, on land and probably also a bit by sea if I find a boat along the way. But yeah, let's start with the first book, which is titled In Beast's Clothing. They entered his hut and began to search. First they tore through his bed. Dried twigs covered the sheet. That was the first proof, for werewolves return at dawn after a night of hunting, their bare feet covered in the forest's droppings. They found the second proof under his bed, a wolf's hide. The werewolf surely dressed himself in it when transforming with the setting sun, and shed it again when he turned to man the next day. Having found these powerful proofs, they ceased deliberation and began the hunt, vowing to find the lycanthrope and bind him in silver chains. Next is Igor the Sade's journal. It's kind of a long text. In brackets, notebook documenting research undertaken for the dissertation on the workings and construction of golems, based on the work of Master Alzer, written by Igor de Sade, a student at the Ban Art Academy. Only a portion of the notes have survived. Day 134. I came across the remains of a destroyed golem in the swamps outside Vizima. Words cannot describe the rage that overcame me. The brickmakers who keep a settlement nearby told me this act of vandalism was perpetrated by some white-haired witcher. I had heard the members of that guild were vile whoresons, but to stoop to that. Day 163. The idea struck me that I might find something of use in the Oxenford Academy archive. I managed with great difficulty to cross the Pontar, but once in Oxenford I met with an unpleasant surprise. The academy had been closed. Luckily, I was able to gain entry thanks to the help of a professor acquaintance of mine. Thank you, Slavoy. I thus was able to dig out a few dust-covered beauties and Eureka. Near the village of Hedal, there's a tower which purportedly once served as a workshop to none other than Master Alzer himself. Day 164. I made it to the tower. It's inhabited. A rather eccentric gentleman has made it a roost for his flock of harpies. I saw him feed their chicks pork. Inconceivable. But let's return to our core concern. The tower which this loon has turned into a harpy nest truly might have once been Alzer's workshop. That means this might be the very place where he conducted his research into golems. Day 165. It's here. standing motionless in a stone circle. The local peasants think it's merely a strangely formed boulder. But then again, how could such bumpkins ever guess they pass a masterpiece of magic construction on the way to feed their chickens? I've already fastened a lightning conductor. It's a shame there are no druids nearby. If I hadn't slept through my course on meteorological magic, I'd summon a storm myself, but as it is, I can but wait, patiently or otherwise. Day 171. Been sitting on these cold stones waiting for a change in the weather, so long my bowels have almost frozen. But it's finally here. I must stop writing now, for drops are falling on my notebook and smearing my notes. The first rumblings of thunder sound in the distance. I cannot contain my excitement. Soon the golem shall live again. The next book is titled Of Sweat and Blood. A veil hangs between the world men see and the one they cannot. This veil blocks the dead from the view of the living, and the living from the view of the dead. Some mages can break through this veil and communicate with the dead, or else summon them to the world of the sun for short periods of time. This is the art known as necromancy. The dead can also break through the veil and enter the world of the living on their own. Yet unlike the necromancers, in doing so, they are not driven by reason and will, but by a thoughtless, irrational need. This need arises from powerful emotions such as regret, longing, or wrath. Very often these emotions gain their power by being invested in a material object by the dead individual, while he or she still knew life. The objects most frequently so endowed, wedding rings, favorite toys, or the instrument used for the crime which sent the returned individual to the other world in the first place. Next looks more like a letter than a book, but can be either. It's titled The Lonesome World Guide to Hindarsfjall. The smallest of the Skellig Isles is also the birthplace of the islanders' culture. Skelligers believe themselves direct descendants of Oddmush, a legendary hero who was the first practitioner of the cult of Freya in the Isles. He erected a beautiful temple in honor of the goddess on Hindarsfjall. Sadly, the temple has been closed to visitors in recent years due to concerns about the possible theft of the famous diamond Brisingamen, ornamenting the goddess's statue. Oddmush also constructed a fantastic garden near the temple. This can still be visited upon making prior arrangements with the priestess's mother superior. An enticing option for those wishing to visit Hindarsfjall is the package excursion offered by the Congregation of Freya worshippers in Povis. Thanks to a long-standing agreement with the Isle's priestesses, they can offer tours of all the local highlights at a very reasonable price. This is by far the best option for families with children or the elderly. Next is a letter called Flaming Rose Scouting Report. Day 1. 2 skinwipes from the nearby village drove a cow by. We'd not mind a bit of beef, but these hayseeds were too pathetic to rob. Poor as dirt and stinking of the sty, so we let them go. Seed cart doing the Brunwich Oxenford route, not worth it. Day 2. Dull, dull, dull. Roads empty. Day 3. Caught sight of a military transport in the distance. Heavily guarded, carrying barrels in their wagons, wine most like, or herring. Weapons, now that would have been worth a try. Lads got bored silly by evening, so they went cavorting with 2 wenches come to hunt mushrooms in the woods. After they'd had their fun, I forced them to let the lasses go. Here's hoping they come back quick with some menfolk from their village. Give us some entertainment. Next is another guide, touristy thing. The Lonesome World Guide to Undvik. Once prospering Undvik was the second, after Skellig, most frequently visited isle in the archipelago. Among its ample charms are the prime location, picturesque scenery, and a sublime local cuisine. Sadly, the isle was recently devastated when some monstrous frosty giant awoke from his long slumber and began murdering and destroying whatever lay at hand. After this occurrence, many realms issued an official edict of warning, cautioning their residents to avoid travel to Undvik. Nevertheless, the isle still attracts many travelers. They are no longer primarily lovers of carefree relaxation, however. Instead, they are adventure seekers and mercenaries hoping to earn the bounty put on the giant's head, or, barring that, at least get a glimpse of this fantastic creature with their own eyes. Though this is indeed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness such a sight, we are duty-bound to advise anyone thinking of visiting Undvik to postpone their trip until conditions improve, or even better, alter their plans and visit one of Skellig's many other attractive isles, where the risk of being disemboweled by a colossal man-beast is significantly lower. Next is the Lonesome World Guide to Skellig. Skellig is a weary traveler's paradise. Those seeking respite from the hustle and bustle of urban life need look no further. Those yearning for peace, quiet, and transcendental views, the kind that leave one short of breath and renewed in spirit, will find satiation on this isle. Here one may enjoy long walks along the most charming beaches in the Isles, ones whose beauty far outshines that of the decidedly overrated coasts of Kovir. Yet the true jewel of Skellig is its port, which is famed for its skilled craftsmen, considered by many to be the best in the Isles. Skellig's shipbuilders have passed down the secrets of their trade from generation to generation for centuries, perfecting it into something which can proudly and with no exaggeration be called an art. Naturally, as a result, one must wait twice as long for a vessel ordered from the local shipwrights than when ordering from lesser workmen. Lastly, it would be a crime to discuss Skellig without mentioning the superb and surprisingly sophisticated local cuisine. Its specialty, sturgeon roasted to golden perfection in a sea salt crust and served with carrot shavings and a sprinkling of mint. Sadly, this dish, once a mainstay of every tavern and seaside fish fry, now has become a rarity due to the overfishing that caused a dramatic decline in the population of that most delicious of fish. Next is Fauna of the Northern Realms, Volume 1. What a wolf is, every man knows. Who hasn't heard them howling at night or seen their tracks in the snow come morning? Who hasn't felt the cold chill run down his spine when he catches sight of a pack of 5 of them hunting in the woods? These beautiful animals are treated by men as enemies, and not without reason, for they attack our flocks and will even kill our horses during times of deep frost. Yet they are noble beasts, endowed with great intelligence and displaying a strength and independence that no man can help but admire. Next is the Lonesome World Guide to Spîkeroog. Though Spîkeroog is not the most frequently visited of the Skellig Isles, one cannot deny it has a certain inescapable charm. Particularly bewitching are the snow-capped peaks, towering over its southern and western shores. Spîkeroog will surely please lovers of the martial arts. The northern portion of the isle is home to a famed arena where local warriors test their strength in no-holds-barred bouts. South of the arena lies the village of Svorlag, home to Clan Morkvarg. Located on a picturesque bay, Svorlag is particularly lovely to visit in the summer and around the feasts of Bellatin. South of Svorlag sprawls a primeval wilderness that serves as Clan Morkvarg's chief hunting grounds. Visiting the southern portions of the isle should be reserved only for extremely experienced travelers, for they are completely wild, inhospitable, and deprived of all human settlements. The area is crawling with dangerous creatures of all kinds, described in more detail in the fauna and flora section. One should also show particular caution when traveling near the caves along the isle's coast. Forgive my wife dying in the background if you hear any coughing. I'm doing my best to be mindful of this, but I'm sorry if there's some coughing still. Next is Contract Morkvarg. Sons and daughters of Freya. Another year has passed in which Morkvarg plagues our goddess's gardens. Whoever musters the courage to eliminate this evil will gain fame amongst mortals and the favor of the immortals, as well as a prize from the temple's vault. Sister Yosta. Next is the Bear Legend. The Berserkers do not constitute a separate clan in terms of blood or lineage. They are instead a family forged by warriors who have heard the call of the bear and answered it by abandoning their loved ones and joining the community of mountain dwellers. Not every man who seeks to join it is accepted into the Brotherhood. The candidates must first pass difficult trials, which usually end in their death. The last trial is the hardest. It is called the Trial of the Bear's Triumph, but few outside the Brotherhood have ever witnessed it, and none know what those who undergo it must endure. Quite curiously, the inhabitants of Skellig themselves know very little about the Berserkers, or Wildkarls as they call them. They do not like to talk about these man-bears, not with outsiders and not even amongst themselves. Next is a book called Ghouls and Alghouls. As for the genesis of ghouls, there are hypotheses aplenty. Some scholars claim these monstrosities arose from scoundrels who indulged in a taste for human flesh, and for this misdeed drew the wrath of the heavens down upon themselves. The gods punished them by taking away their souls, their minds, and their human forms. My experiments have shown, however, that ghoul anatomy displays far too little in common with that of humans for this thesis to seem at all probable. Any and all similarity in appearance between ghouls and men, such as their somewhat kindred shapes, and the measures of their physiognomies, are pure matters of incidental circumstance. It thus follows that ghouls, like their vile cousins the Alghouls, are post-conjunction creatures. That is to say, such beings as came to our universe in an abrupt cataclysm disrupting the normal laws of nature. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do 2 more for this video. So this second to last one is called Thunder's Journal. In brackets, there are a few poems and abstract drawing in the journal. Most of it is incomprehensible scribbling. I was transferred to the smuggling spot. Again, I love this job more than any other, for there is not much to do. Just sit all day waiting for buyers, and naturally, when a man's bored and has good merchandise right under his nose, he'll give it a sniff or two. Besides, sometimes someone shows who doesn't like our profession, or who tries to cheat us. Then we get to give that gentle someone the treatment he deserves. Ugh, all this writing's worn me out. So I think I'll see if I can sniff up, a bit of R&R. Then I'll write a poem. In brackets, margin note. Watch it dance, the world's having turning. Instants pass, and answer all life's yearning. Count it up, the sand flying through the glass. Slurp life down, let its pickle end your fast. Chemicals coarse and satisfaction slowly fades. Flesh enlists in ecstasy as bliss plows your veins, and doom spreads its wares on your life's cracked remains. Okay, and the last one for today is called Golem, or Man's Most Faithful Servant. It's another fairly long text. Despite what you might have heard, the first golem was created not by a powerful mage or an elven sage, but by a simple dwarf from Maribor named Bonaventura Sesto, a brickmaker. The fateful act of creation took place over a century ago, when the persecution of non-humans was in full swing in Maribor. Elves and dwarves had been accused of bringing an epidemic to the city, though it was later discovered the outbreak had been caused by a man named Matteo, a barkeep's dog's body at the Golden Goose Inn. This Matteo was charged with both serving meals and cleaning the latrines, and would only wash his hands once a month, and then not very thoroughly. The rest, as they say, is history. The persecution of non-humans was limited at first to robbing their shops, arson, and the occasional beating. but the violence soon escalated into a bloody pogrom. As the city guard looked on without lifting a finger, humans murdered elves and dwarves during 3 days and 3 nights of slaughter, killing over 300 individuals, including the aforementioned Bonaventura Sesto's entire family. Driven mad with grief and thirsting for vengeance, Bonaventura molded a 10-foot-tall humanoid out of clay, and then carved the names of the slain non-humans onto it, along with a smattering of dwarven curses. Once finished, he slit his own throat, and when his blood splattered his gigantic statue, it came alive and started walking towards the city. Bonaventura had his sweet revenge on his persecutors. His creation killed almost 500 humans, including the mayor and the entire city council, before the soldiers from the city garrison could take it out using their ballista. The Conclave's later investigation found that Bonaventura had possessed hidden magic talent. Though he had never had any training, the torrent of powerful emotions running through him at the time of his death flushed out his latent powers and created from them a new spell. After numerous alterations and improvements, one can now cast the spell without sacrificing one's life, and golems guard laboratories, libraries, and palaces across the continent. Okay, and that is going to be it for this video. There are still many more books and letters to read. If I had to guess, I'd say at least 3 more videos, probably more. And I do intend to go through all of it. And then there's also still the quest books. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a while till I get through all the notes and books. And by then, it's likely I will have finished at least the main game, so maybe I can start on the character entries by then. But we'll have to see. Maybe I'll try to finish Blood and Wine as well, so everything is fully done and completed before I start on the character entries and the bestiary. But that will be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you very much for watching and for listening, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye.